So I guess the big news story of the day, I guess we'll just get right into it. It came out on Twitter earlier that I'm sure a good friend of yours and a fan favorite, Larry Sweeney, has passed away. I mean, what is there to really say?
Well, I've talked to a lot of people today that knew and loved Alex as much as I did and do, and we are trying to take solace in the fact that for the last couple of years of Alex's life, he was not in a good place for a variety of reasons, but he wasn't himself, and it's a very common phrase when someone dies, say rest in peace, but I and all of us in the Chikara family and the wrestling family, whatever, are trying to take out of this that Alex is in a better place right now, and he's in a more peaceful spot right now than he has been in a long time. And he was not necessarily a religious guy, but he's a very, very, very spiritual guy. And I can't help but believe he's happy, and he's looking down on us, and he's strutting and cackling, and that's the guy that I choose to remember. And just like right before I just got on the phone with Eddie Kingston, just like telling old stories about him and like the stuff he used to do and stuff he used to say. Like it's comforting to know that he's probably in a better place, but it's sad to think that we're never going to see him again. Sorry.
It's all right, man. It's all right.
This is a very fun for you guys. I'm sorry. It's just sad to think we'll never see him. We'll never get to hug him again, hang out with him again, or drink a beer with him again, and all this stuff that he just loved to do so much. He just a guy that it's hard to comprehend that a guy that was so full of life is not alive anymore. And his parents and his brother and his sister are just such great, nice people, and I can't imagine what they're going through and how they're feeling today. It's just, man, sucks. Life isn't always fair, and depression is a very powerful, awful thing that's really hard to control. And, to think that someone that had as many friends and was so loved as Alex was, to have that, to think that he had that feeling that for him to be so sad, it boggles what my mind can comprehend. But he unbelievably loved and unbelievably going to be so missed. And there's just so many good times. There's so many. I'm sure there's a million videos on YouTube and Facebook right now. And shit, man, that's what I choose to remember. I'm gonna remember all the good that he brought me, and he brought thousands and thousands of people. The smiles he brought to people's faces, and the smile he brought to my face when I'd see him. And last year he came in, he was in for Chikara, and you don't realize at the time that was such a blessing that we got to see him one more time, we got to hang out one more time, we got to go on a car ride one more time, and it was just, I don't know, losing a brother, man. He was around the second year at Chikara. I remember the day he walked into the Wrestle Factory in 2003. He moved. He moved from Chicago to Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, to train at Chikara. It's crazy. It's crazy to. Sorry, let's talk about talkIMPACTradio. Sorry.
It's all right, man. I mean, I mean, death in wrestling is something that you kind of become numb after a while. I think the last person that really kind of affected me was Chris Benoit, but today when I read it on Twitter, I just that really sucked.
Yeah.
That ruined my whole day.
Yep.
He was so great, and it was just if he would have been 5 inches taller, he would have been a megastar WWE.
Yep.
Just had everything there was, but just
he's a charisma machine. It was oozing charisma, and it's sad the way it ended the way it did for him. But he just had so much to offer the wrestling world and the world in general. Just such a positive person, and just always a guy there to talk about your problems with, and just a smiling face. And always the guy to give you a hug when he saw you. Like, God, he existed life. And, yeah. I mean, death in wrestling is never anything that you want to become used to or anything, but it comes to someone that you know so personally and that you've had so many good times with. It's just, I'm honored and privileged that I am a former ICWA Texarkana television champion. It's one of my career highlights.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'll never forget that on my first Chikara show I ever went to was the 2006 finale in Hellertown.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess you guys were running late or whatever, and Sweeney just came out and picked a fight with some little kid, and they had an arm wrestling match.
Absolutely, man. That was the guy when the in the state of Pennsylvania, you can't start a show until there's a doctor in the building. It's mandated by the State Athletic Commission. And we used to have a really flaky doctor. We have a much better one now. But back in those days, the really flaky doctor would often just kind of, show up when he felt like it. So we'd be stuck with a crowd full of people, and, we couldn't start the show. So that is how the Larry Sweeney Arm Wrestling Challenge was born. I mean, you could do this in the ring as long as people weren't technically wrestling. So, the Hydrolock Challenge, that's where that came from. We just throw stuff out there to kill time. And, that was all, off the cuff, impromptu improv. And, me being out there with him, that used to crack me up, man. The stuff that would come out of his mouth on the fly, just, oh, my God. So talented. But, yeah, as the day goes on and I talk to more people and I think about more things, so many good times. And, they definitely outweigh the bad times. And that's what I'm taking with me is all the good times. Crazy day. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll all definitely miss him. But
yes. It's going to be very cathartic that King of Trios is this weekend, and luckily all of us will be together. Fans and the wrestlers and all the wrestlers and the Chikara family and whatever. It's better than sitting in your bedroom by yourself crying. At least we can all be together and tell stories and hang out. That's absolutely positively what he would have wanted, is for us all to, move on with our lives and remember him and take him with us, but, not sit in a dark corner and not, not go out and be together. That's what we're going to do this weekend, a variety of tributes to him this weekend.